The Mongol Empire, founded by Genghis Khan in the early 13th century, emerged as one of history's most formidable military forces. Known for its expansive conquests across Asia and Europe, the empire revolutionized warfare with strategic innovation and unparalleled adaptability. The Mongol military campaigns were defined by their speed, organization, and effectiveness. The introduction of mounted archers allowed for rapid movement and efficient long-range assaults. Central to this military prowess were commanders like Subutai and Jebe, who spearheaded key expeditions such as the Battle of Kalka in 1223. Understanding the significance of the Mongol military campaigns, particularly the expedition led by Subutai and Jebe, involves recognizing their role in shaping the geopolitical landscape of the time. These campaigns exemplify the Mongols' capacity to conduct large-scale military operations across diverse terrains. The Battle of Kalka itself is a vital case study. It demonstrated Mongol tactical superiority and the strategic incompetence of the Rus and Cuman forces they faced, highlighting the effectiveness of Mongol intelligence, deception, and coordination. Specific examples include Subutai and Jebe's strategic triumphs in Eastern Europe. Their successful raids into the Kievan Rus lands culminated in the Battle of Kalka, where they cleverly lured the opposing forces into a trap. Another application of their military genius is evident in the surprise attacks on various European territories, showcasing how Mongol strategies left lasting impacts on local cultures and warfare tactics. Scholars and military historians often admire the Mongols for their strategic brilliance and systemic military organization. They argue that these principles remain relevant, even influencing modern military doctrines. However, the Mongol expansion was brutal, marked by mass destruction and loss of life, leading to controversies regarding their legacy. Some view the Mongols as ruthless conquerors, while others see them as agents of progress for bridging East and West in a pre-modern global exchange. The military successes at battles like Kalka connect deeply to the broader narrative of the Mongol Empire's rise. They underscore the influence of military tactics on the empire's expansion and how it paved the way for future campaigns into Europe and the Middle East. This intricate blend of martial prowess and strategic insight carved the Mongol Empire's place in history, influencing cultural and military developments for centuries to come. Through this lens, the Battle of Kalka doesn't just represent a tactical victory, but also a testament to the enduring legacy of Mongol military strategies. The expedition of Subutai and Jebe in the early 13th century stands as a pivotal moment in Mongol military history, particularly epitomized by the Battle of Kalka in 1223. Defined as a strategic military campaign led by two of Genghis Khan's most trusted and skilled generals, the expedition revealed the Mongols' extraordinary capacity for warfare, intelligence gathering, and psychological warfare. Subutai and Jebe were tasked with pursuing the remnants of the Khwarezmian Empire into the Caucasus and further into Eastern Europe. Their journey showcases the Mongols' ability to conduct deep incursions far from their home base, underscoring their unmatched mobility and adaptability. The significance of Subutai and Jebe's expedition lies in its demonstration of the Mongols' military prowess and strategic acumen, which would later facilitate their unprecedented expansion across vast territories. This campaign foreshadowed the Mongol Empire's influence on Eurasian politics for decades, and highlighted their ability to challenge and defeat large and technologically advanced armies, thereby setting the stage for future conquests in Europe. One specific example that illustrates the significance of this expedition is the initial encounters with Russian principalities. The Mongols, using exemplary feigned retreats, managed to lure a significantly larger force of Russian and Cuman soldiers into a trap, demonstrating their tactical ingenuity at the Battle of Kalka. A further testament to their capability was the crossing of the Caucasus Range during winter, an act that symbolizes their extraordinary resilience and military logistics. Supporters of this military strategy often cite the Mongols' exemplary adaptability and pioneering military methods, which have been studied and admired in military academies worldwide. However, this expansionist mindset and its execution have not been without controversy. Critics highlight the high human cost, widespread destruction, and the cultural impact of the Mongol invasions, sparking debates about their legacy as both benevolent rulers and ruthless conquerors. As with any historical campaign, there are alternative viewpoints, noting the harsh realities of engaging with the nomadic Mongol forces in traditional static defensive warfare. Furthermore, the forced subjugation and the implementation of vassal states led to significant long-term socio-political changes in the affected regions, altering the course of regional histories. In sum, the expedition of Subutai and Jebe directly influenced the broader narrative of Mongol expansion, showcasing their formidable prowess and subsequently shaping the structure of the Mongol Empire. This campaign set in motion not only the wide-ranging conquests that would follow, but also the geopolitical dynamics of Eurasian lands in the medieval world. Subutai and Jebe were two of the most exceptional military commanders in the Mongol Empire, playing pivotal roles in the Mongol expansion during the early 13th century. Known for their strategic brilliance and their unique ability to execute complex military campaigns, they were key figures in Genghis Khan's military hierarchy. Subutai, often considered the greatest of Genghis Khan's generals, was renowned for his innovative tactics and ability to coordinate large and intricate operations across vast distances. Jebe, on the other hand, was celebrated for his battlefield prowess and loyalty to Genghis Khan, despite having been an enemy who had initially resisted Mongol domination. Their significance becomes particularly evident during the Battle of Kalka in 1223, where their strategies exemplified the broader Mongol art of warfare. Subutai and Jebe had been tasked with an expedition westward, which aimed to reconnoiter unknown lands and test the strength of potential adversaries. Against a coalition of Russian princes and Cumans, Subutai and Jebe implemented a hallmark Mongol strategy, the feigned retreat. This tactic successfully baited their enemies into a vulnerable position, resulting in a devastating victory that underscored Mongol superiority in psychological and strategic warfare. A real-world illustration of their impact is seen in the rapid Mongol conquest of large swaths of Central Asia and Eastern Europe, where their innovative military tactics allowed relatively small Mongol forces to consistently defeat larger, well-entrenched armies. Additionally, the cross-continental raids led by Subutai and Jebe laid the groundwork for the later, full-scale invasions of Europe, demonstrating their significant role in expanding Mongol influence and reshaping Eurasian geopolitics. Critics of Subutai and Jebe's campaigns might highlight the brutality and destruction that accompanied Mongol invasions. Contemporary accounts describe the Mongols' scorched earth tactics and the severe impact on civilian populations. However, supporters argue that their warfare innovations were revolutionary, influencing military strategies for centuries to come. The dynamic strategies executed by Subutai and Jebe at Kalka connected deeply with the Mongol Empire's core military philosophies, which emphasized mobility, surprise, and psychological domination. Their campaigns not only established Mongol military supremacy, but also opened up Eurasian trade routes and cultural exchanges, facilitating a form of globalization in the medieval era. Subutai and Jebe's roles underscore the importance of leadership and innovation in the Mongol conquests, making their deeds at Kalka a cornerstone event in the broader narrative of Mongol expansion. The expedition of Subutai and Jebe, Battle of Kalka, 1223 refers to a key military campaign during the early 13th century, when Mongol generals Subutai and Jebe led a series of daring raids into the lands of the Rus and Cumans, culminating in the Battle of Kalka River. This expedition is significant as it highlights the Mongol Empire's exceptional military strategy and the beginning of their influence in Eastern Europe. The battle itself is crucial because it exemplifies the tactical prowess and psychological warfare employed by Subutai and Jebe. They used a strategy of feigned retreats and ambushes, which were instrumental in defeating numerically superior forces. At Kalka River, in 1223, the Mongols decisively defeated a coalition of Rus's princes and their Cuman allies, which demonstrated their effective military coordination and the limitations of the fragmented European powers. This victory, though not leading to immediate Mongol rule over the region, set the stage for future invasions and incursions into Eastern Europe. One notable example illustrating this point is the Mongol communication and reconnaissance system, which was critical in their ability to gather intelligence and execute long-range operations over unfamiliar terrains. Another example is the Mongol army's adaptation to diverse combat scenarios, which allowed them to efficiently subdue a variety of foes, including heavily armored Rus's knights and lightly armored Cuman horsemen. Support for the strategic brilliance of this expedition can be found in the writings of historians and military analysts who regard the Mongols as having revolutionized warfare during this era. The testimonies of the Rus's chronicles, despite their adversarial stance, acknowledge the skill and fear induced by the Mongols, proving the expedition's significant psychological impact. However, these military achievements are not without controversy. The Mongol invasions, characterized by their ruthlessness and the scale of destruction, are often criticized for the suffering they brought to civilian populations. This has led to an alternative viewpoint that questions glorifying Mongol military strategies without recognizing the humanitarian impact. This expedition and the Battle of Kalka River connect to broader aspects of the Mongol conquests, as they illustrate the beginning of Mongol penetration into European territories. The tactical and psychological lessons learned there would influence subsequent campaigns, guiding Mongol operations that eventually resulted in the creation of one of history's largest contiguous empires. The legacy of Subutai and Jebe's expedition underscores the Mongols' role in shaping the geopolitical and cultural landscape of Eurasia.